Hi, my name is Aaron Curtis. My presentation this week is on usability, and obviously particularly when it comes to website development or website design. To start, I wanted to go over what is usability, and I wanted to get a definition from outside the website development. Gives a good reason, gives some good perspective. So I went to the easiest site I could find, dictionary.com. And in dictionary.com, they give two definitions for usability, and they both are very applicable to what we're talking about. One is available or convenient for use, and two, capable of being used. When we talk about website usability, we're going to be considering both, or actually, you can almost consider this three definitions. It's available for use, convenient for use, and capable of being used. I found a really interesting, simple quote on one of the websites I reference later on from a Steve Krug. He's quoted as saying, when talking about usability on websites, "Don't make me think." That is kind of what we want people to do. We don't want to make them overthink. We want it to be natural. We want it to flow. So keeping that in mind, we'll move on. And I'm sure we all can think of benefits of having a usable website. One of them is higher conversion rates. And then there's a good quote for a second one. Users assume that if you cut corners on your website, you also cut corners with your products and services. So when users feel smart and sophisticated on your website, they tend to stick around. That's a benefit. If you create a highly usable website, users tend to stick around. They have more faith and satisfaction with your product. Well, next one is increased user satisfaction, increased user productivity. The increased user productivity. I worked at a company called InsideSales.com. It's a software as a service company. We constantly had updates, and if there were occasionally user issues that would lower productivity, but then occasionally they would come out with a fix, or even they would come out with an improvement that would increase our productivity. We're constantly working with development to help increase productivity. A well usable site will decrease, reduce training and support costs. If people are able to figure it out on their own, you don't have to spend a lot of time training them. Positive press coverage. If it's a popular website, people like it, you're going to get a lot more views. Higher rate of repeat customers. Reduce development costs because costs incurred to fix design mistakes, as well as you're decreasing post-implementation changes and costs. An example of usability. Who loves WeatherBug? It's honestly my go-to uh, weather app on my phone. I used to have several, and I narrowed it down to just WeatherBug. There's some issues with it, but what I liked about them is their usability. It's easy and very quick to get the information I want. However, in late 2000, WeatherBug.com was actually in the process, like every website, of attempting to turn free users to paid subscribers, and they were at a crossroads of sort. They discovered that, kind of as we all assume, that most people go to the site mainly to look at current weather and at weather alerts. They actually made that much simpler. They changed their design to use flash animations and appropriate color usage to quickly and easily provide the desired information. By making some simple, and I'm doing air quotes, simple changes like that to their design, they had massive increase of 225% uh, conversion rate from free users to paid subscribers after making these changes. They were only expecting, in the study I read, they were only expecting a 30% increase. And so this was a huge and massive success. We may not always be able to expect that big of a change or that big of a success, but if we properly design a well-usable website, we can expect improvements. Even the government is implementing usability. In 2010, PEW's or Pew's Government Online Report found that 61% of adults looked for information or made transactions on a government website in the last year. Every environment, and this comes back into play, every environment faces their unique challenges and receives unique benefits from usability. The government, like everybody else, They want to increase user satisfaction. By increasing user satisfaction, they'll increase productivity. And an example, I at one point was a police officer. I issued quite a few tickets when I was a police officer. It was kind of funny that the city I work for, they redesigned their website where people could go and pay for tickets. And after redesigning their website, they actually had an over 50% increase of compliance for these paid tickets, whether they be parking or moving violations, for example. And so it was just increasing, but it was such a simple change. Increasing the usability of the website increased compliance with paying the fines. And so it's something to keep in mind that the government, like everyone else, wants to decrease costs. I want the government to decrease costs. They want to decrease costs. Usability is one of the ways that they've been able to do this. Moving on here, there are quite a few common usability mistakes that people run into. I want to go over, I've listed 9 here. And some of these, we've actually gone over specific lessons in our class so far this semester. For example, one is a tiny clickable area. There have been several mentions in the videos or in the lessons that we've taken about how to increase the clickable area by making the text on lists clickable or increasing the size of text boxes to make them usable in various sizes of screens. For example, that's one area we want to make sure we do that. Pagination. I found this word in the text I found, and it's kind of an interesting word, but the pagination can be used for the wrong reasons. You imagine good reasons for making pages, various pages of things, is if you're on Walmart or Amazon, and you don't want to, if you do a search for a scooter, and you don't want to have 50,000, a page with 50,000 items pull up, it would take forever to load. It just would be inefficient. And so that, or pictures in a gallery, that can be efficient, good usability. But one of the examples they used is multi-page blog posts. Let's say I have a blog that, I write a post that's 3 pages long. Pages as in screens long. I don't need to create a new page for each screen size. It is more efficient, more usable by doing it all continuous. Another one that I hadn't thought of is duplicate or poor page titles. If you have duplicate or poor page titles, that's one way that a lot of people are able to navigate to and find your site. And when you're like me and have a million tabs open across the top of your screen, it makes it a lot easier and a lot more usable to find what I need if I have good page titles. Content that is difficult to scan. We talked about this one, particularly when we were looking at using the forms for the Storm Center page on our website. When you want everything to line up and so that your eye tracking can be in a single line instead of zigzagging all over the page. No way to get in touch. I'll actually go over an example of this in just a moment. No way to search. You want to be able to, if I can't find immediately what I want, just looking at the page, there's a search bar. I'll be able to find it pretty quickly. But if I can't find what I want, I have no way to search for what I want, I'm going to leave the site pretty quickly. Too much functionality that requires registration. There are lots of reasons to require registration on pages. However, putting too much of that behind this registration wall can be an impediment. And that is something that we want to be careful of. Then, tied with that is the last point. I probably should have put them together. Is when you register, registration forms that are too long. We need to make sure that they're appropriate lengths, that we only are asking for appropriate and correct information. Another simple one is links pointing nowhere. I made this mistake at one point in the class. I caught it before I turned in the assignment, but I hadn't updated the navigation links on my weather website before turning it in. Luckily, I caught it and was able to, but you'll find websites frequently that you run into these. Now, who wants to drink Coke? Personally, I love Coke. Good with a nice plate of taco, Mexican street tacos, or wherever you get them from. Coke goes good with a meal. However, and their previous versions of the website, as you see here, you notice there's no actual contact information on the page. There's no phone number, email address, anything. Most of the links on the website actually take you to frequently asked question entries. This can be very difficult and is not pleasing to the customer. It decreases usability. Just a quick example there. Now, by conclusion, the purpose of creating a website people can use is that people use it and want to continue using it. This is what all of usability boils down to. If we put in too many page breaks, make people register for important information using long registration forms, they might as well just leave. I've done it, you've done it, we all have done it. However, if we build a website, you can quickly and easily get your information from each and every time, customer will likely return. If you have any questions or any feedback on this, I would appreciate you letting me know. And I hope you all have a wonderful week and good luck on this week's assignment.